All right. Hey, y'all. We got something for you.
Hey,
Uh,
I'm gonna need to close this
yeah, you can close it and go.
or minimize it.
Yeah, minimize it. I have no idea what to do on the Mac, y'all. That's him on his Mac and me trying to figure it out. So, here we go. We decided to do an impromptu. Who are we? Okay, we're the Grown Zone. I am Zara Green, and this is my husband, Alfred Edmund Jr. And we decided to just kind of do this impromptu um, Google chat, and in order to address a few things, mostly why you can't find love. There's so many people who want it, desire it, and it's natural because we come here. It's a really cruel joke, I think. We come here with the need for love and the desire to love, but we do not come here knowing how to love. And because we don't come here knowing how to love, um, we're really just kind of in the dark trying to figure this thing out. But the good news is that we can all learn how to love. And what Alfred and I love to do is teach you that. So one of the things that that we want to really focus on is to show you why it is that you can't find, well, it's several things actually. It's in fact, I just kind of pulled and pasted a few things, so you'll see me focusing down here on the reoccurring themes from our clients when people are when we talk with them about the stuff that they're going through. Okay, so baby, what I want to do is just kind of hit these as I go through some of these things.
Yes.
After I hit them, and I'm probably just gonna run off from the list.
Mm-hmm.
As we go from the list, then we're gonna talk a little bit more about
Absolutely.
Why those things are. Okay, so why you can't find love? Well, you're first of all not clear about what you want. Now let me tell you what I mean. Whatever you are the clearest about is what you get.
Yes.
And so for a whole lot of people, they are clear that they about what they don't want.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And when it comes to love, then we know we don't want because of our bad experiences. So because we know we don't want, that tends to be what we focus on.
Yes.
And the reality is, whatever you focus on and whatever you are the clearest about, that is what will show up in your life.
Yes. Whatever is most clearly defined, whatever you're most clearly focused on in your mind, even if it's something you don't want.
Yeah.
Sometimes, especially if it's something you don't want, it's all you will see around you. It'll seem like that's what's being drawn to you because you're very, very clear about it. And most people are clear about what they don't want. And let me tell you a little kind of a psychological experiment that kind of illustrates that. If I tell you, don't think about soda, stop thinking about it, don't think about it. The mere act of you trying not to think about it makes that the only thing that's on your mind.
Well, here's another way that happens. Once you buy a car, if you did whatever kind of car you buy, if you buy a black Honda, you hadn't seen as many black Hondas, but every time you look around, you're seeing a bunch of black Hondas. So it really is the law of attraction. That's how it works. So
what's the consequence of that though? When we're talking about, so seeing a bunch of black Hondas ain't going to hurt you. Thinking about soda's not going to hurt you.
Right.
But if you say, I don't want somebody who's cheap, or I don't want somebody who's mean, or I don't want somebody who's unfaithful or abusive or lazy or dishonest, and that's clear in your mind.
And it's so clear because it's not just about what's in your mind, it's about what's vibrating throughout your being.
Exactly.
And so when we talk about the attractive factor, everything is energy.
Yes.
So if we all attract based on energy, it's not just about what you're thinking, it's about your entire being. Whatever it is that you, whatever station you're tuned into, and in a vibrational sense, then that's what you're drawing to you.
So what happens now? So now you're out and you're living your life, and you're trying to avoid what you don't want, but of course that's all your mind is clear about. Then what it seems like is all your options are some variation of what you don't want.
Yeah.
And this leaves you stuck. You have two choices. You can say, I don't want none of these because they're all examples of what I don't want. Or what many people do, especially as time goes by and they get desperate and they get lonely, then they say, I got to choose from the best of what's here.
Now let me address that word that many people hate. They hate to be referred to as desperate.
Mm-hmm.
But the only thing that desperate means is that you have a longing for something, and that longing for that thing for so long then meets an opportunity.
For example, your natural hunger, your body's hunger is for things that are nutritious for you. That's your natural state. Your body wants nutrition. But in the absence of suitable things to consume, your hunger builds to the point where people could put something that's not particularly nutritious in front of you. But now you're so hungry, you feel like, well, I just got to eat it. So if you don't acknowledge your longing, you can go a long time without having what you're longing for. But what happens is you eventually are like, either I'm going to starve. And in a relationship sense, that's someone who's like, I'm just going to live my life and just be by myself and not have anybody to engage with or share with. Or you go the other direction. All I see is what I don't want, but now I'm so hungry that I got to take some variation of what I don't want, because now the longing is overcoming my sense of what's nutritious and healthy and good for me.
Well, which goes back to, we come here with the need for love and the desire to love, but we don't come here knowing how to love. And so the point I want to make before we move on is, whatever you do to eat, I mean, whatever your job is, whatever your profession is, you had to learn how to do that thing.
Yes.
You didn't come here knowing how. You didn't come here knowing how to be self-reliant. You didn't come here knowing how to do any of that. Whatever it is, whatever skill sets you have, you had to develop them.
Yep.
Well, love is the same way.
Relating.
Relating, it's relating to one another. And so it's not just about learning, communication skills, right. Or learning how to compromise, because again, compromise in most cases and with most people means sacrificing self in ways that's unhealthy.
Exactly.
So learning how to love means understanding what all of those things are. So again, it's like a cruel joke. You come here needing love and desiring it, but don't know how. But
no idea how to deal with this longing, this yearning. And as a result, so what does that leave you with? When you're not clear about what you want, but you're very, very, very clear about what you don't want, and then all that seems to be around you is what you don't want, then that puts you in what we call the trap or the mindset of limited options. Mm-hmm. You heard it. Oh, there's no good men out there. Oh, you can't trust any of these women. Your lack of ain't loyal. So your lack of clarity about what you want, in your very clear definition of what you do want, puts your mindset into this idea that there are limited options, there are limited choices, and now you're kind of stuck. You're either stuck without anybody or stuck with a relationship that you find dissatisfactory, but you're trying to cope with it. Yes. You're trying to accept it. You're trying to live with it. And the truth is, as human beings, we are able to endure suffering for an incredibly long time.
We really are.
But it's still doing damage along the way. So just the fact that you can take it does not mean you're not paying a price for it. And that price is not just emotional. It is often, almost always, financial.
Absolutely.
So there's a consequence.
One of the things that we encounter with just about every person we speak with is the financial losses.
Yes.
In making poor choices when it comes to relationships. And if you don't have standards for your for your own self-loving treatment, then you can expect to continue to lose when it comes to your finances and emotionally.
Because you make financial investments in relationships.
You make financial investments without healthy standards for love.
Exactly.
And when you do that, then it's like pouring money down into an endless pit.
Yes.
And very oftentimes trying to use the money to try and save the relationship. And that's why the typical relationship cycle of marriage and divorce is over $100,000.
Yeah, the typical marriage cycle, starting with engagement through the marriage, through a divorce cycle, that one cycle is this is the low average for the average person. It's much higher for a successful executive or entrepreneur or athlete or entertainer. But the low average for the average person exceeds $100,000 per marriage cycle. And even if you've never been married, the similar expenditures are made for every time you are in a committed relationship. Absolutely. So the only thing that's missing from the committed relationship that doesn't go well and it's unhealthy is maybe you don't have a divorce. But often, and all you gotta do is watch, your typical judge show with small claims court, and you got people that were dating each other, suing each other for mortgages and credit cards and car payments, and I put the car in her name, and so the price is, in a way, it's messier than a divorce.
Oh, it's absolutely
because
messier.
The divorce at least has a legal guidelines for how these things are supposed to be resolved. Absolutely. So whether you're married and you go through a failed relationship cycle, or whether you're just in a committed relationship, you can expect to endure over $100,000 in damages if you're not conscious of what's keeping you from having the kind of healthy love you want.
Right. So when you're not clear about what you want, you might get anything. In fact, I can almost assure you, you'll get anything. And the one person that who things just happened to go well for, and they didn't go through the intentional relationship education, don't let that be your guide for what can happen.
That's like pointing to the one person that hit the lottery and saying, "Oh, that's going to be my money management strategy."
Right.
I don't need to save for retirement. I don't need to study and learn about credit and taxes. And no, the one person I know hit the lottery and made it big. That's going to be my strategy. And everybody can point to that one person, that one couple that it just seems like it was magic and it just happened. And they think, and unfortunately, popular culture teaches us, oh, that's what you need to be looking for. You need to look for lightning in a bottle and fireworks to go off. But when you find that example, that's the 1 in a million example. And just like the lottery, if that's going to be your strategy, you're going to end up losing a lot of money.
Losing a lot of money, losing a lot of
peace of mind. Exactly.
All security in that.
Absolutely right. Just like there's no financial security in playing the lottery as your money management system, there's no emotional and financial and physical security in just hoping that you catch lightning in the bottle without clarity of what you really want and what's good for you.
Absolutely. Baby, I want to move on to this next point. But will you do me a favor and grab my phone right quick?
Absolutely, baby.
I want to share this in other mediums. We just turned on. It looks like a couple people are there. We just turned it on and didn't promote it.
In fact, I just got back from the gym.
And I just got back from my box.
CrossFit.
Doing the dang thing. Yes, I am.
Y'all don't want none of this. Y'all we working with it, y'all.
We working it out.
Yeah.
So y'all, I turned this thing on, and I've not really done a good job of neither one of us. We ain't telling nobody we were doing it. We figured it's a video, and when you see it, and it's good to you, you can share it, and we'll be able to share it too. But I am trying to go back now and see how I'm able to do that here. Anyway, I guess I'll move on since I can't figure it out.
So the first thing that's keeping you from finding love is you don't have clarity of what you do want, but you have very crystal clear clarity of what you don't want. So that's what you tend to see and attract and to recognize.
Okay, I think I just found it. Okay, so the next point is the reason that you can't find love is your beliefs are sabotaging you. Y'all, this thing is huge. Beliefs, people allow them to be downloaded into their system in the same way software is downloaded into a computer, which is usually somebody else's beliefs, which is usually something else that happened in life some other time that is not serving you right now. So if your beliefs are not serving you, they're sabotaging you. So what you believe drives your emotions and choices. Your choices drive your results, and your results become ingrained as patterns and habits. Take it, baby.
Here's what the deal is. We tend to focus on the outcomes. I can't find the right person. Oh, she did it again. Oh, that man treated me poorly again. Oh, I keep finding the same type of guy. So we focus on the outcomes, and often when we're trying to find solutions, we focus on the outcome. So you say, I'm gonna get on Tinder. I'm gonna fix it by going on Tinder.
Right.
Or I'm gonna fix it by hiring a matchmaker. Or I'm gonna fix it by going to church and finding a church guy or girl. And all of that is outcome driven. But when you find yourself repeating the same pattern over and over and over again, relationships, whether it's with the same person or with a different person, it's a different name, but it's the same pattern, that is a function of your beliefs.
Sure is.
And unfortunately, most people do not deal with that. And then you have this kind of recurring theme, especially by the time you're 35, 40, 45 years old. You can sit down with somebody and they can practically tell you the same pattern. Well, we can
absolutely we can
dictate the same pattern. And so, as Zara said, your beliefs can only sabotage you or serve you. Sabotage leads you to unwanted outcomes.
Yes.
Serving you leads you to desired outcomes.
And for a lot of people, the hit or miss is because they don't understand when their beliefs are serving them or sabotaging them.
Right.
They don't.
They're not even conscious of it.
They're not conscious. You're living in this. Most things operate anyway from the subconscious level, and you're being driven from the subconscious level. But it's your responsibility to get to know those things that continue to keep you in a unhealthy.
But here's the deal: you would think you could figure that out for yourself. But it takes an outside person to walk you through that so you can see. It's like you don't see, you look at yourself in the mirror every day, it looks all normal to you. But
it's like that fish swimming in their water.
Yes.
It's the water in which you swim.
So it seems perfectly right to you. And that's why you can't understand, well, I'm a good person. I want love. I want to be loving. Why am I getting this result that I don't deserve, that I don't enjoy, even though in my mind, when I look at what I'm doing, it makes perfect sense to me. Yeah. So using that analogy that you mentioned earlier, your beliefs are the code that has been downloaded into your system. Once it's downloaded into your system, you're going to operate in a certain way until that code is changed.
Absolutely.
And you can't undo the code on your own without help. But as long as you have that code in your system, meaning as long as you believe what you believe, you're going to continue to have the outcomes that you're going to have. And you're going to continue to suffer the same results, because you can't, if you focus on just trying to change the outcome, it's like saying, I'm going to change the answer that the computer comes up with.
Yeah. I'm going to reiterate for the professionals, when you go on your job, when you're doing what you do on your job, and particularly those of you who are high achievers.
Yes.
Which is a lot of who we deal with, and coach out of their patterns. When I talk to you about your job and what you do, and for those of you who have had the promotions, who have the degrees, who are doing exceptionally well, who have the house and the car, and you look the part, and you've got your professional life is on lock.
Right.
But your personal life, that's not so much the case for. The only difference is that you've given the attention to your professional life that it needed for you to get where you are. That's the only difference.
So let's talk about the analogy between your business life and your personal life. What we call beliefs here, we're talking about your life and your relationships. In business is assumptions. You make business assumptions. You assume that if you do this kind of marketing thing and you do that and you price it a certain way, that there's going to be a certain outcome. If it's a positive outcome, you say, oh, our assumptions were correct.
Mm-hmm.
But if they're a negative outcome, you go back and you say, we need to revisit our assumptions about this because we're not hitting our sales targets. We're not hitting our audience the way we want to. So we in our business and professional lives, or even our financial lives, we almost are instinctively trained through schooling, through our job experience. When something's not going right, we go back and we question our assumptions and our beliefs.
Well, it's become instinct.
But we were taught it.
Instinctive. That because you were taught it, because you gave it that attention, because and you trust it.
So when you were in school studying, whether it was business or science or whatever, you went through a process where they would say, if you don't get the right answer, you got to go back to the beginning and look at your assumptions that led to the wrong answer.
That's right.
But in our relationships, we're taught, hey, sometimes it's just going to go your way and sometimes it's not. And if it just keeps turning out the same way,
and it's just not true, y'all.
It's not true.
And we're not getting off this horse. We're gonna beat the ever living heck out of this horse, because the same way you have success in your professional life, you have to give the same kind of attention to your personal life in order to
education, training, and coaching.
And here's the deal, and even in it's a personal growth issue. Relationships fall under personal growth. Okay, your personal life falls under personal growth. Relationships is part of it. You have to learn how to what goes into creating a healthy foundation for your relationships. So as long as you believe what you believe about yourself, about relationships, about love, you'll continue to suffer with the same results.
No matter what you do, no matter how much you pray and how you talk to your pastor and you went on Tinder and or eHarmony and you took their little test about compatibility. But if you don't,
the matchmakers you've gone to,
dating,
none of that
dating
is
coaches,
going to work until you get this right.
You got to change your underlying and challenge your underlying beliefs.
Absolutely.
If you want different results.
Absolutely. Okay, so here's the final point that we want to make. You won't face your fears. Oh, I can hear some of them now. Don't tell me I don't face my fears. I face my fears every day. I place calls. I do the hard stuff first. That's all in your professional life. And in your personal life, you probably face some fears too. Yeah, you have, in order to have accomplished the things that you have accomplished in your professional life. But when it comes to relationships, then you've got to face your fears in order to ever have a healthy relationship. Now, here's what we're talking about.
So your fears are what you lie awake at night thinking about. It's what's hiding in your closet.
Come on.
It's what's under your bed.
It's that stuff that stuff you're covering up with.
Covering
your Mercedes and your big house.
But when you're by yourself, and let's take it to the kids thing. When the kids care to the boogeyman, right? The boogeyman's under the bed or in the closet. And then sometimes they feel better. They say, I need somebody in the bed with me. I need to sleep with somebody else because I'm scared of these fears. So
this is gonna give me some comfort.
So what are these fears in relationships that haunt you when you're not being Superman or Superwoman in your business life and your day-to-day life? I will always be alone. No one will ever love me. My time is running out. I need to be happy with whoever will have me.
Settling.
It will never be safe for me to open my heart to love freely. There is no one out there who will love me the way I want to be loved.
There's nobody who will understand me.
No one who will understand it. No one who will accept me with all of my flaws. There's something that's happened to me or something I've done that makes me unlovable.
Because here's the reality. The people who, particularly those approaching 40, over 40, and who have done well enough to take care of themselves. And I'm not just talking about women.
No, we're talking about men and women, people
who have had a relationship, a couple relationships, divorced, a few divorces under their belt, all of that stuff. in different ways makes people feel like they're unlovable.
That they're broken. That
you're broken, need fixing. They're unworthy. They don't deserve.
Spoiled, that you're damaged.
Or that you're stuck in your ways.
Yes.
And there's, it's all of the reasons.
So it all boils down to the biggest fear, the thing that really people struggle with, that true love and happiness is for everybody but me. It's just not for me. And what happens is, especially successful professionals, because they don't want to show weakness. They don't want to seem needy. So you handle it in one of two ways. And I'm someone who's been there. So this is from personal experience. You either pretend that you don't need any of that stuff. You go into denial. You say, look at me. I got a successful business. I got a successful career. I'm fly. I got the car. I got the clothes. I got the house. Yes, it would be nice. If someone would come along and share with me, but if they don't, I'm just fine. And so you deny and you ignore those thoughts. But that
doesn't mean that you don't have a good life. You've created a good life for yourself.
Yes.
You have the money to go and buy whatever it is you want, to have whatever experience. You travel. You do all the things that you want to do, but there's still that longing for somebody.
Well, here's the thing about you having the money and the resources to do whatever you want to do. You don't invest it in the solution to your problem. You don't invest it in facing your fears.
I know where you're going.
You invest it in things to distract you from your problem. So you invest it in your career. You spend all your time at work. You invest it in your business. You're building a business and you tell yourself that you can't have a relationship because you're trying to get your business on track. You invest it in your children. You say, as soon as my kids grow up, I'm going to deal with the boogeyman under my bed.
And then as soon as they grow up, you still running and hiding because you don't have the answers. You don't know how to get out of that.
You're invested in self-medication, sex. Like you can get some sex.
All kinds of it.
It ain't really dealing with the longing and this fear that you have that you're going to end up unloved.
And it's socially acceptable to have wine now, but you're having more than one.
It's socially acceptable to have sex. No one blames you for just saying I'm just lonely and I'm just going to get somebody to share this bed with. Shopping, drugs, social media, hobbies. And sometimes what you're distracting yourself with is not a bad thing. So maybe if you're a guy, you like basketball. But often you're not just watching basketball all the time because you love basketball. You're watching it because now you kind of have something to distract you from this emptiness that you're dealing with, this voice in your head that's saying, I ain't never gonna have anybody. Nobody's ever gonna care about me.
He's fooled himself because he does have he can call whomever he wants over whenever he wants to call them, and not that all guys are doing that, y'all. Because what we finding, what we found is that there are many of them who are not out here doing a whole lot of sexing. They're just not. So they are opting to do to have these whatever their activities are alone, and but because they're not for the games, they're not for they're not looking to be used. They're
it goes back to when you think you have no options, it's either take the best of what's available, even if it's
or be by
yourself and not engage with anybody. And guys are stuck in that situation as often as women are.
Absolutely.
But here's the deal: when you're really successful, you often don't face your fears because you think that you're admitting those fears is an admission of defeat.
Yeah.
An admission of guilt. How dare you? An admission of ingratitude. When you got it all going on, how can you even admit to your best friend? How can you admit to anybody that I got it all going on, but I have this fear. There's this boogeyman in my closet under the bed. But until you face those fears, until you take concrete action, it's going to grow like a cancer in your life. It's not like it's just going to stay, in that little box. Your fears will be fed and they will grow. And you see people who are bitter and pessimistic, and it starts creeping into your job performance. It starts creeping into the choices you make because there's a certain amount of longing and frustration that makes you reckless or hopeless. And both of those things will be bad for your business. Both of those things will be bad for your career. If you're reckless or hopeless, then the energy, the motivation, the drive that it takes to maintain the rest of your life, which may be wonderful, is lost, because when all is said and done, you built this major structure of a life on a foundation of emptiness.
Yeah.
And then you're like, everything, even the good things in your life, become a burden to you.
Absolutely.
Especially if you got to pretend to everybody that you're just fine. Especially if you got to pretend to yourself, I'm just fine.
Well, and you can pretend to yourself for a little while, but eventually that all catches up. And you might call it, well, I had a bad day, or it's been a bad week, and I'm feeling, I've been feeling lonely. And then you do what many people do when they're lonely, and that still doesn't fix it. And so there comes a time when hopefully you come to a point that you got to do something about it, and you're willing to do something different.
But the longer you go without doing something, the more damage it causes. That's all I want you to understand. There's a price that you pay for accepting the status quo.
Accepting the status quo and neglecting the yearning within.
And the cost is financial and it's emotional. It's not just I'm have a lonely night and I'm watching TV on the couch eating ice cream. Mm-hmm. It has a broad impact on your capacity to earn money, your capacity to maintain a peaceful, happy home, mm-hmm. your capacity to just feel good about yourself. And so it's very, very important that you understand the damage that gets done when you don't take action, when you don't face your fears, when you don't gain clarity, when you don't challenge your beliefs to get different results in your life. Just waiting around will continue to damage your life.
It does.
And so when I talk about hopelessness and recklessness, think about the people who recklessly got married because they were just desperate to get rid of the pain, or the people who became
We've been there, by the way.
By the way, both been there. Or think about the people who are hopeless, and I'm going to use women as an example. And they say, you know what? They all going to cheat anyway.
Oh.
So let me just get the wealthiest cheater I can get, and he's going to tell me to my face that he's going to sleep with other women.
Y'all don't even know how much that hurts my heart.
And I'm just going to accept that because I'm just going to get that money and I'm just going to get paid. And that way he's not really cheating on me if he's told me to my face that he's going to sleep with other women. So
there's a better way.
It's all good. But that's a sign that you now are in the hopeless state. You're saying, absolutely. I surrender. Absolutely. I've lost all hope of ever getting what I want. So if I'm never going to get what I want, then forget about it.
If I'm never going to get what I want,
or what I need,
I'm never going to get what I need. And I live in a society that says that is totally patriarchal and says, leaning to men being not being monogamous and they all cheat and all. Look, it's energy. That's your belief system. And just because it's your belief system, it's what you've experienced, it's what the women in your life, that's the case for. That is a very tiny little dot in the entire world. And how dare you take your little dot and place it on the entire world? I am telling you that everything is vibration. When you raise your vibration and you start to live in a way that has that is her honor, esteem, and respect. You live in that way, you will attract others who do exactly the same.
Exactly.
That is how it works.
If you stay on the path that you're on and you become reckless and hopeless, you surrender all of that. You give in.
Absolutely.
And you allow yourself to be overwhelmed by what you don't want. We're right back to the beginning. By what you don't want, you say, you know what? What I don't want is all there is. So I'm just going to surrender to all of that. And that you're saying if you can't beat them, join them. But you're joining them in beating you.
Absolutely.
You're joining them in what's unhealthy for you. So you're getting on the winning side of the losing side.
And there's so much that we could talk about in this. And but time, we're not. We just kind of did this impromptu and decided to come and talk about this because, guys, again, it's a vibration. And until you learn something better, learn something different, to where you can create a wholeness that can attract wholeness, then you'll keep on feeling broken and attracting brokenness. When you are whole and complete, you came here with everything Absolutely. You need. It's just a matter of getting in touch with it and learning how to love you first, and then to attract the love of your life. And that's what's possible for you. That's what we know. So in the spirit of all of that.
Yeah. So when we ask, why can't you find love? Here's what to do about it. Here's what to do about it. Talk to us. Call us. Make an appointment. Go to grownzone.com/open house.
Open-house.
Open-house. And schedule a talk with us.
If you're for
take
high
action
achieving,
on your own behalf.
For high achieving professionals, it doesn't make sense for you to not balance your life. You are a professional who has done well in life because you focused on your professional life. It doesn't make sense for you not to give that same attention to the personal side so that you can have the kind of wholeness and live a peaceful life with
a peaceful,
somebody else.
Joyful life.
Yes.
with confidence and without compromise.
Absolutely.
So what do you get with a conversation with either me or Zara? We will help you do 3 things that relates directly to what we talked about in this video. 1, we will help you to achieve clarity on what you really desire and need for yourself, not just what you don't want.
That's right.
We will help you to make the picture of what you do want far more clearer than that picture of what you don't want, which will change your capacity to recognize and choose what you do want and have what you don't want kind of receive into the background of your perceptions.
Absolutely.
And
it's no longer driving what you get.
Exactly. The second thing we will do is we will help to identify those sabotaging beliefs. We will walk you through that and help you to identify them and help you to connect those beliefs to why you're getting the outcomes you're getting. And we will help you to challenge those beliefs and replace those beliefs with beliefs that will serve you, that will deliver the outcomes that you want. The third and final thing.
He's on a roll.
Yeah, I mean, we're both so passionate about this and about ending the suffering that we see all around us.
Absolutely.
But the third and maybe the most important thing is we will be a safe place for you to face and conquer those self-limiting fears that are blocking your ability to create the life that you want. We will be the safe space. Maybe you can't admit it to your friends. Maybe you can't tell your mama. Maybe you can't tell all those people who think that because you're successful and you're kicking butt, that you don't have a right to say, you know, even though I seem to have it all.
We know what that's like.
We know exactly what that's like.
We know what it's
so
like.
So we will help you to face, to name, to pull the boogeyman out of the closet and from under the bed, face, and then conquer those fears that are blocking you from getting what you want in life and relationships.
Yeah.
Clarity, challenging your beliefs, and conquering your fears. Call us, or get on a call with us.
Get on a call with us.
Schedule a call with us. Go to grownzone.com/open-house, open-house, and get on a calendar.
That's it.
Give us a little bit of your time.
Well, it's actually it's an application process.
Well, you do have to apply. That's
so right. You apply to have a conversation with us, but that's the first step.
Yes.
So go, apply, and we'll speak soon.
It's better in the Grown Zone, y'all.
It sure is. Live and love in the Grown Zone, y'all. That's what we want for you. That's what we wish for you, and that's what we offer you. So on that note.
Thanks for hanging out with us.
Thanks for hanging out with us. Literally. Okay, I got to get up and come close, y'all. It ain't no cute way to do this. So.
Bye, y'all.